Okay. In our world today, we are currently faced with oil shortages, vanishing species, deadly weather disasters, economic chaos, and nuclear threats. Experts state that we are on the tipping point of climate, energy, financial systems, and food and water production. Is this all just a coincidence that at this moment in time, all these things are converging into one? We always talk about how we need change or how change is coming. Well, is that change because of destruction, creation, or both? Today, I'd like to introduce to you a few theories on the end of the world in 2012. I've been researching this topic for a few weeks. December 21st, 2012, it may seem like another date to you, but if you haven't already heard, there are many theories and concerns that this is the actual day the world will end. Although this is not for certain if this is the fall of mankind, it makes one consider if we can continue to live life in such a way we do. Today I'll discuss something called the galactic alignment, the Mayan calendars, and the prophet Nostradamus and his predictions. First, I'd like to introduce to you something that is for sure going to happen December 21st, 2012, and it's called the galactic alignment. It's a rare astronomical phenomenon where as you can see, this is the sun on December 21st. It's when the sun lines equally with the galactic equator. This happens once every 26,000 years. The Earth, it spins slightly off center. So every time we look up slowly, we see a different view of the stars every day. But if we spin perfectly in a perfect circle, like everyone assumes, then we wouldn't get a different view. Because we spin in a wobble motion, the background lines up so the sun appears to rise directly in front of the center of the galaxy, which is, as you can see here, and that's the galactic equator. Next, I'd like to introduce, next thing I want to talk about is the Mayan calendar systems. The Mayan calendar ends December 21st, 2012, the same day as the galactic alignment. Many scholars agree that the Mayan calendar is the most accurate calendar ever made. And the Mayans believe that each galactic alignment ends an age and begins a different age. And each beginning and ending of an age brought great and sometimes violent change. Since the galactic alignment is on December 21st, and so is the end of the Mayan calendar. According to the Mayans, we're living in the fourth and final age of creation. The first three ages of creation were destroyed by the gods because they thought we couldn't properly pay homage to them. If we go back 26,000 years to the last galactic alignment, we find that this is the end of Neanderthals and primitive life, and this is the beginning of human beings and new tools. In other words, it's the end of the third age and beginning of the fourth age. Is it possible that these ages refer to the evolutionary change? If it is, then what's going to occur December 21st when the fourth and final age ends on that day? The galactic alignment occurs every 26,000 years, and it was what the ancient Maya were pointing to the 2012 end date of their long count calendar, which is the end of time. Another popular theory I'd like to introduce to you is by a man named Nostradamus. Nostradamus was a French reputed prophet, and in his book, Les Prophéties, he predicted several major historical events, such as the French Revolution, Hitler, Napoleon, the assassination of JFK, and 9/11. Next slide. Okay. So here's an example of one of his squadrons. Out of the deepest part of the West Europe, from poor people a young child shall be born, who with his tongue shall seduce many people. His fame shall increase in Eastern Kingdom. If you don't know history, this is talking about Hitler. Hitler was born to poor parents of Austria, which is in Europe. And he was so powerful and so persuasive and so charismatic with his speech, he had the whole country of Germany behind him, and it's being said. And his fame shall increase in the Eastern Kingdom, he formed an alliance with Japan. So many believe that Nostradamus' predictions were correct and they were true. However, it's really how you interpret it. So people believe that Nostradamus predicted the end of time also. So here's 2 slides that say about what he predicted. This is from Century 2, Question 3. Because of the solar heat on the sea of Yuga, the fish is half cooked. The inhabitants will come to cut them. When the biscuits will fail, rose in January. And then Century 5, Question 98. At the 48th climactic degree, at the end of Cancer, very great dryness. Fish and seas, river, lake, boil tested. Buren Vigori is in distress through the fire from the sky. Many believe that this is pointing to global warming as the coming crisis. Keywords you should be looking at here, solar heat of the sea, and that's going to cause the biscuit fail, which is bread, which is food, so there's going to be a famine. And then this one, there's going to be a very great dryness caused by global warming, and fish and sea boil hectic. So all the fishes are going to perish. And not just that, but we're already in a famine. And here, fire from the sky, the sun. So this all is talking about climate change, global warming. And then some suggest that at the galactic alignment, if you don't remember, the galactic alignment, the center, when the sun is in the center of the galaxy, it's going to at the same time, it's going to be the peak of solar activity in the sun. Because of that, it's going to cause great, massive destruction, and there's going to be increase in global temperature. If the solar cycle will peak at the galactic alignment, like most experts suggest, and that's going to be on the 2012 winter solstice, which is December 21st, 2012. In that time, there's going to be no ice in the North Pole for the first time in recorded history. The polar ice caps are going to melt, which is going to cause a rising sea level and massive storms that's going to disrupt coastal areas. This is going to be the biggest transition, and we as humans wouldn't know how to handle it. So what Nostradamus was trying to say was that global warming is going to destroy us, and the galactic alignment is what's going to bring the global warming. So today I've talked about the galactic alignment, the Mayan calendar, and Nostradamus and his predictions. December 21st, 2012 is 3 years, 9 months, and 16 days away. You could prepare for the worst, or you could go to sleep the night before and act like tomorrow is coming. However you want to go about it, that day is coming no matter what, and we really don't know what will happen.
Well, since Ned is not here, I'll go ahead and tell you what I thought, and hopefully we can get it in a minute and 30 seconds. I liked the introduction pretty well. I thought that you identified the topic in a clever way. You had a nice thesis statement. There's a very good preview of what the content's going to be. The supporting material I don't think is cited very clearly. I did think some of the explanations were interesting, but they weren't always complete. For example, I'm not sure. At one point you mentioned that the solar activity is going to be at its peak during the galactic alignment. Well, how do they know this? Where did that information come from? I don't get any idea on that. The interpretations of Nostradamus, you know, they're pretty big inferences that you're making. It's an interesting idea. If there were some scholars or researchers who were talking about it, I think that would maybe add a little bit to your speech. It's interesting as a subject, and I think you do want to treat it as a subject of interest. I do like the conclusion a lot. The visuals were okay. They didn't add a lot to the presentation, but they did sometimes help clarify, for instance, the Nostradamus predictions and how people are making inferences from those things. And You know, the galactic alignment, I think that you explained it, but there were a couple of other things that needed to be clear when you started swinging your arm around. I know that there was some... No, I know there was a point you were trying to make. I'm just not sure what it was.